Thank you for choosing Society Complex. This is your host, Von Lee. Let's get into it. Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in with me, Von Lee, here on Society Complex. Thank you for going on this roller coaster ride on this podcast. I certainly appreciate your support, all your shares, and things like that, and your donations, and things like that. So I just want to let you guys know that I really, really appreciate that. So today we're going to talk about Jussie Smollett. I don't know if you guys are following this story. I've been following it since it came out in January of 2019 when this situation, I guess, started happening. But it's just now pretty much concluding. I believe he is incarcerated now. He's got to do 150 days in jail, 30 months of probation. He has to pay $120 restitution and a $25,000 fine. And I think currently they said that his brother said that he has a bed in the psych ward where he is. I don't know how true that is or not true, but they said that that's where he is now. But his brother is saying that he's not suicidal or, prone to self-harm or anything like that. But honestly, I guess you really don't know that, because you're not in jail with him. So, but anyway. So, Jussie Smollett, he was born June 21st, 1982. So, we're going to get some background on him first, okay? So he's born on June 21st, 1982. American actor, singer. He started his career as a child actor in 1991. He played in the film The Mighty Ducks in 1992. He's played in a few other little things, but his biggest role was as Jamal Lyon in the Fox drama Empire, which we all know that show. Obviously has Taraji P. Henson in it. He played in that, and his role in that show series was a very groundbreaking role, because you don't see many black gay men on television. So that is very, very important that he actually had that role. And he's actually able to play himself. Like, they didn't hire a straight person to play a gay person, which is usually what they do. So that's why I said that role was very groundbreaking, and it showed them in a positive light as a gay black man. Like I said, which you don't see a lot, especially in black films. You don't see a lot of those things depicted. So that was very, very important role for him, and he really should feel very lucky that he even got that role, and that they even chose to portray that with him on that. But yeah, so he's a singer-songwriter. His sister, Journey Smollett, I know you guys probably know who she is. She played in the movie, the TV show, Underground, and I believe she's been in a ton of other things. She's a great actress, and she honestly better than he is, way better. But she definitely does not get her flowers. So, but hopefully she will. But she's a much better actor than he is. So anyway, so some more background on him. He was born in Santa Rosa, California, to his mother and father, Joel and Janet. He has 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and a lot of them are actors also. He is biracial. His mother is African American, and his father is Jewish. Now, his father was absent for most of his life, for a significant part of his childhood. They did move to Elmhurst neighborhood, which is in New York City, the borough of Queens, when he was about 2 years old, from Los Angeles. And when he was 19, he did tell his parents that he was gay, and so that took him on when he started his acting career. He started as a child model in New York City, and he later went on to be in movies. He was in New Jack City. Like I said, he was in The Mighty Ducks and a few other things. But yeah, so he's got a little career going, That is before he messed it up with this. But anyway, so yeah, so that's about that. So when he started this whole thing here, it was in 2019, January 29th, 2019. He told police that he was attacked outside of his apartment by two men in ski masks. So he reportedly said that he was talking to them and they were using racial slurs, homophobic slurs. And he said, "This is a MAGA country," which is a reference to former President Donald Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again." We all know that. He said he also claimed that they used their hands, feet, and teeth as weapons to assault him. And then with a statement, according to Chicago Police Department that they released, the two suspects had poured an unknown liquid on Smollett, and they put a noose around his neck. Now, this is what he told the police. So, and they said that he also said that he fought them off, and then he was treated at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. He didn't have any serious injuries, and he was released in good condition, quote, good condition, later that morning. So the police, they were called about after 2:30 a.m. When they arrived, it was about 2:40 a.m. And Smollett had a thin white rope around his neck. And he said that the attack may have been motivated by his criticism of the Trump administration, and that he also believed that the alleged assault was linked to the threatening letter that was sent to him earlier in the same month of January 2019. So on February 20th, 2019, he was charged by a grand jury with a class 4 felony for filing a false police report. And the next day, they arrested him at the Chicago Police Department Central Booking Station. And then shortly after that, that's when they released that he was under arrest and that he was in custody. And then on March 26th of 2019, all the charges filed against him were dropped, with Judge Stephen Watkins ordering the police court file sealed. First Assistant State's Attorney Joseph Maggots said that the office reached a deal with Smollett defense team, and that he was supposed to pay the $10,000 bond and then do 16 hours of community service. So they dropped charges in exchange for him paying the $10,000 bond and doing only 16 hours of community service. But then on April 12th, 2019, the city of Chicago, they filed a lawsuit against the Circuit Court of Cook County against Smollett for the cost totaling $130,000 and about 15 cents over time the authorities used to investigate this hoax. So in 2019, Smollett decides that he was going to do a countersuit against the city of Chicago, alleging that he was the victim of a mass public ridicule and harm, and arguing he should not be made to reimburse the city for the cost of the investigation. Sir, I don't know how you think that you wouldn't have to reimburse them for a lie, not just one lie, several lies that you told and made them go out and investigate a bunch of lies. So I don't know where you thought that you could just do that and nothing would happen to you. And then you said that you were a victim of mass public ridicule and harm. Yes, I guess you were, but that was of your own doing because you did it. So the public responded to what you did to yourself. So I don't know, you're going to have to help me make that make sense. That doesn't make sense. But okay. I guess, to each his own, but that makes zero sense, sir. So anyway, so after the charges were dropped, the allegations of favoritism and leniency were made against the prosecutor, Kim Fox, which I think Kim Fox, she was in a lot of trouble anyway, because she, not only with this case, but prior other cases that she had, they felt, basically, in other words, she wasn't really doing her job. So in June 2019, Fox asked the state to conduct an independent inquiry by a special investigator. And then on February 11th of 2020, after further investigation by a special prosecutor was completed, Smollett was then indicted again by Cook County grand jury on 6 counts of a felony disorderly conduct pertaining to making 4 false police reports. And then on June 12th, 2020, a judge rejected Smollett's claims that his February charges violated the principle of double jeopardy. So his trial began in November of 2021, and then on December 9th, he was found guilty of 5 of the 6 counts. Right? So, and then here March, fast forward a little bit, March 10th of 2022, he was sentenced to 150 days in a county jail. That was to begin immediately. So after that was done, he went straight back. As you can see online, you can find his mugshot and all of that. And then he is also sentenced to 2.5 years on probation, and he is also ordered to pay that restitution that he tried to get out of to the city of Chicago for over $120,000, and he is fined $25,000. Now, after his sentencing, he had a outburst in there, and he repeatedly said, and after sentencing, he said, "I am not suicidal." He repeatedly said this. And then he continued, "If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community." He said, "Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this and I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself, and you must all know that." His lawyers then filed a notice of appeal the following day. So, yeah, this has gotten really, really crazy. I don't know. To be honest with you, I think he did it. It shapes up to be that way. I just don't see why you, of all people, when there are more famous people in the world, that somebody would have some kind of, vendetta or some kind of thing against you personally. I know, he hired the 2 guys to beat him up and all that, and then when he got caught, he tried to say that he paid them to do for some exercises and stuff like that. But he's clearly lying. His story never made sense. I'm sorry. It never made sense. And it still doesn't make sense now. And a lot of people are coming out in support of him. I know his siblings are, and a lot of, his co-workers and things like that. He's pretty much blackballed. He's probably blackballed more than Monique at this point. And, the thing about it is, like I said, it wasn't like a fly-by-night type of case, and we're going to get into the evidence and things like that about what's going on. But it just wasn't, they just pulled it out of their ass and said, okay, well, this is what happened. And, but the way he described it and what happened, and then for him to have no injuries or anything like that, it just doesn't make sense, sir. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. So now, although a lot of people are coming out about what he has, his sentencing, for instance, Taraji P. Henson, and I love Taraji P. Henson. I love what she's doing on her show on Facebook with the therapist and things like that, because it's very, very important. I think the Black community needs somebody like her and what she's doing, and letting them know that it is okay to have mental health therapy and things like that, and to get it, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially for men. And that's whether, you're Black, white, or, whatever. But she did come out in support of him, and she compared his situation to Emmett Till and the white lady that later admitted that she was lying. And then she also said that nobody got hurt or died in his ordeal. Now, I'm going to stop you right there. Now, you are correct that nobody died, but people did get hurt. The Black community got hurt, and the LGBTQ community got hurt. You see, and I say that because it's already hard enough Even if we separate the two, which I don't think you have to. If you're black and gay, that's just what it is. You're black and gay. But as a black community, it's already hard enough for us to prove any sort of discrimination or racism or anything like that. And for him to go as far as to do this, and with the noose around his neck and the Trump stuff and all of that, that is hurtful for the people that actually do go through those things. Just like there's another case, which if you listen to this podcast, there's another case that I talk about where that actually did happen to someone. But he made a mistake and trespassed into some kind of private land at a park or something. And he, they chased him around and they, said they were going to hang him from the trees, so on and so forth. But that's a real story. But something like this takes credibility away. They already don't believe us. So for you to go and do that, that does hurt someone. That hurts us. And it hurts our credibility for the people that actually are going through and have had a similar situation that actually happened. And then for the LGBTQ part of it, it's already harder on that side too. It's hard on that side too, even right now look at what's going on in Texas and Florida right now with trans kids and things like that. And they're making all these laws and whatnot. Yes, we've came a long way on both sides, but this kind of thing sets us back. When you lie, when you make up things, it makes it harder for us to be heard on both sides. It makes it harder. And that's why I said I have to stop you right there, Miss Henson, because somebody did get hurt. We got hurt. And you should be hurt too, that he even thought in his mind that it was okay to do that. And you said you don't want to speak on his innocence or guilt. We're going to have to speak on that because that is holding each other accountable. And we have to hold this man accountable for what he did. We have to hold him accountable. Just like the other, we have to hold each other accountable. And like I said, she's comparing it. And a lot of other people also, not just her, have compared it to, like I said, the Emmett Till situation and things like that. Now, to me, those are two different things. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm not concerned as much as holding a white person accountable as I am concerning holding my own community accountable. Yes, we know what happened with Emmett Till. But to me, like I said, it is not the same situation. Now, could they have arrested this lady? I think she actually stays here in North Carolina where I am. Yes, they could have. Obviously. Absolutely. Yes. But you know what? Honestly, that lady is living her nightmare since then. I mean, she's had to live with that, and she clearly cares about it because she didn't have to admit anything to be quite honest. She could have not said anything and kept it moving and kept her secret to herself. But it clearly weighed on her enough that she felt like she had to say that. But to me, these are two different situations. And it's different because with all the progress that we've made, I'm not saying we're there yet, but we've made a lot of progress. And this sets us back from that progress. Because if you think about it, we're already saying then, okay, with Emmett Till, nobody believed him, right? They believed that he did it immediately because he was a black boy. And, then he couldn't talk to the white girls, so on and so forth. But now that people that people are starting to believe us, and we're starting to progress, and we're starting to hold police officers accountable. We're starting to hold everybody accountable for the racism and things like that. I'm not saying we're there all the way, but we are starting to hold them accountable for those things. So imagine that progress, and then Jussie Smollett comes along and does this. This sends us back because they're going to say, well, this is what we were talking about. They lie. Black people, LGBTQ people, they lie. That this is not happening. They're lying. See, look at this. So this right here is going to haunt us for a very long time because now we're going to say, oh, well, that's just another Jussie Smollett. That's what's going to happen. That's why I said I'm going to have to stop you right there when you say that nobody was hurt. We are hurt from this, and we need to hold him accountable. Yes, we can support him and hold him accountable all at the same time. Say, sir, you know what? I understand what you did. It was wrong what you did. I understand you want to have your career. It's hard for a gay black man. Okay, we hear you. But this was wrong. You did wrong. And now you're going to have to pay the consequences for that. But we support you when you get out. We will support you. We will help you find a job. We will, if you need money, we will help you pay your rent. We will help you pay your mortgage. We will do whatever you need us to do to help you. That's holding him accountable and supporting him. Because I think some people get it confused where they say you can't do both, but you can do both. In the black community, we can do both. And it's just with any community, but you can do both. You can hold someone accountable and you can support them at the same time. It's just like D.L. Hughley when he was talking about Kanye West. Now, we're not saying we don't support Kanye West. We support Kanye West, but we also want Kanye West to get help. But we do support him, but we want him to get help also. And that's what D.L. Hughley was saying. In a nutshell, yes, what Kanye West is doing is wrong. It's wrong what he's doing. It's wrong what he's doing. But we still support you. But I think he's not getting the support that he needs. People are agreeing when we don't have to agree to hold someone accountable or support them. You say, you know what? I totally disagree with what you're doing, but what can we do to help? Where are those people at? Like I said, with this Jussie Smollett thing, I mean, where is that? I'm just saying, I would rather hold us accountable for us and let the white people hold themselves accountable, and then we meet in the middle. Because I can't hold somebody else accountable for something that they're doing when they probably don't even understand me. But like I said, we can meet in the middle of that. But this right here is not the way. This is not the way to do that. Like I said, this man was wrong in what he did. He set us back. That's why I said I'm going to have to stop you right there, Miss Henson, because somebody got hurt, we got hurt. Like I said, it's great. But I am glad to see that we are supporting him. But excuse me. Like I said, at the same time, we're going to have to hold that man accountable. But anyway, we will be right back here on Society Complex. Please stay tuned. We're going to get into some more things. We're going to talk about Kanye West a little bit. We're going to talk about Kim Kardashian a little bit, because that's just looming right now. We're going to talk about the Ukraine versus Russia right now. The businesses that have pulled out of Russia, which is basically everything, even McDonald's, which I'm so surprised at, and many other things. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for staying tuned right here on Society Complex with your host, Yvonne Lee. Now let's get back into this Jussie Smollett. Okay, so we're going to go back a little bit. We're going to talk about some things that happened in between. First, I gave you an overview, basically, of what was going on. So now we're going to get into a little bit more juicy details, the meat in the sandwich, so to speak. Okay, so January 30th, 2019, he had a outcrying of a lot of support from a lot of celebrities, such as Viola Davis, Janelle Monáe, T.I. They all send out messages of support to him. His co-stars, Grace Byers, Naomi Campbell. So Grace Byers said, "This despicable act only shamefully reveals how deeply the diseases of the hatred, inequality, racism, and discrimination continue to course through our country's vein." Empire's creator Lee Daniels posts on a video on Instagram. He said, "Hold your head up, Jussie. I'm with you." Comedian Steve Harvey, he said that this is about coming to the aid of another brother that has been tasted the brutality of hatred and racism and bigotry. So Like I said, again, he had a lot of support for him in the beginning in 2019 when this happened. So on January 31st, 2019, Jussie had refused to hand over his phone to the police investigation when they were investigating the attack. They wanted to confirm the details, including the MAGA references that were made, that he said that were made. So the actor says that he was on the, because he said that he was on the phone to his manager at the time, right? Okay. So a day later, the police say he's a victim. We don't treat him like a criminal. And then they said that they won't demand the phone, but he wasn't willing to give up that phone. So then on February 1st, 2019, Jussie Smollett, he did speak out for the first time about the situation. He said that he was okay after the incident. And then in a statement, he says, "The outpouring of love and support from my village has meant more than I will ever be able to truly put into words." Then he adds, "I am working with authorities and have been 100% factual and consistent on every level." You said you're working with authorities, but you wouldn't give them your phone for evidence so they can cooperate. But so the Chicago police also released pictures of the two people of interest at the time that they wanted to speak to, and they said that they were taking it very seriously. And things like that. So there was photos posted about the two men that were walking towards him and things like that. So on February 2nd, 2019, at a concert that had been planned for a very, very long time, Jussie Smollett, he makes some comments about the incident. He said, "I'm not fully healed yet, but I'm going to be." This is what he said when he was like reading from some like piece of paper or something. And he said, "Just because there has been a lot of stuff said about me, that's absolutely not true." He said, "I'm sure my lawyers are sitting up there. No, Jussie, no." And he says, "Above all, I fought back." So he said that he said that he fought these two very big men off him when he was saying that he got attacked outside of his apartment. And then he goes on to say, "I'm the gay Tupac." Then he just stops abruptly and then goes on about his way. I don't know about gay Tupac, but okay. So then on the 11th of February in 2019, he finally submits his phone records. So he gives the police a PDF file of his phone records. And after that, this is originally after they had already asked for his phone, and he did refuse. But the files were redacted, so a lot of the stuff in there was covered up. So I'm pretty sure you guys know what redacted means. But if you don't, that means, it's like when the CIA sends a redacted file, they black it out. So at that time, though, the police said that they had no reason to suspect any wrongdoing from Jussie, and they are not even looking at charges regarding filing a false police report. So moving on, February 14th, 2019, they find the people of interest and they are arrested. So they are arrested. That's when they find him or whatever. And the two people of interest, they were interviewed by the police, but they were not charged and they were not treated as suspects at the time. Now, these were two brothers that are originally from Nigeria. And it's like Ola and Abel. That's what they go by. They had worked with Jussie as extras on Empire, and then sometimes they said that they would go to the gym with the actor. Well, this is what his lawyer says, that sometimes they would go to the gym with the actor. So some of the other items that were seized at the police raid that they had at their homes included a black face mask, an Empire script, phones, receipts, and a red hat and bleach. So on that same day, which is on the 14th of February in 2019, on that same day though, Jussie does an interview with Good Morning America, and he suggests that the attackers are white, saying, quote, "If I had said the attackers was a Muslim or a Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot much more." So when he got on Good Morning America, he alleged that the attackers were white. And he said that basically if he would have said that they were black, Muslim, or Mexican, then people would have supported him. So, and then he said about his refusal to give up his phone, he says, "I have private pictures and videos and numbers, my private emails, my private songs, and my private voice memos." That's what he said about that. And then he also said that he says that gay people should learn to fight these kinds of attacks, which he's not wrong about that, you know, which we've been fighting for a long time. So, you know, but so that's what he said on the Good Morning America. And then after that, the police said that they have no evidence to support at that time that the attack was staged. So they were starting to get reports that he had staged this attack. But at that time, like I said, they did not believe it. Nobody believed that. They didn't have any evidence of that. So they didn't even go there. So moving right along, February 17, 2009 is when the investigation kind of shifts just a little bit, because they're starting to get new evidence. They started doing more interrogations of individuals. So they're being questioned by the police. So they're starting to get a little bit more information. They're not confirming, but they're getting a little bit more information. So then the Chicago police, they said there have been some developments in the investigation. And this is the day after they released the two brothers without any charges, because like I said, they weren't treated as criminals or anything like that. So they, that was the end of that part. So like I said, up to this point, nobody's questioning him. So, but they did say that they had spoke to the individual who reported the incident, which is Mr. Smollett. And so his attorneys put out a statement that Jussie Smollett is angered and devastated by recent reports that the perpetrators are individuals he is familiar with. Okay, so he basically said he didn't know that these were the two people that had attacked him, even though he went on Good Morning America and said that they were white, so on and so forth. So, and then he adds, it's impossible to believe that the brothers could have played a role in the crime against Jussie or would falsely claim Jussie's complicity. So at that point, the two brothers were claiming that he was a part of it. And this is why I said it shifts a little bit, because now they're like, okay, well, you know what? We probably don't even believe this, but they've been told something. They have to do their job, start investigating that just a little bit. They're not treating anybody like criminals, but they're just, getting the information. So moving forward, February 20th of 2019, that is when Jussie is charged by the Chicago police after they have officially classified as he was officially classified as a suspect in a criminal investigation by Chicago police for filing a false police report, which is a class 4 felony. And then at that point, the detectives are currently presenting their evidence to a Cook County grand jury. So the Chicago police, they said that the actor is charged with disorderly conduct and filing a false police report. And then earlier in that day, a reporter that is in the U.S. obtains footage appearing to show the brothers buying materials, including the ski mask that they found at the apartment. And then they said that they had allegedly been warned by the people who attacked the actor. And it says, That's when, like I said, that's when everything started to shift, because they found that. And then there was a lot of sources saying that Jussie told the brothers what to buy. And there were countless phone calls placed for this. And so the reporter that did that, he said he visited many, many stores, and that's where he got this information. So, and then Jussie's attorneys, they came back and they said, well, we would like to conduct a thorough investigation and mount a aggressive defense, as they should. Everybody has the right to defend themselves in the court of law. That's what we love here in the United States. You definitely have the right to defend yourself. So, like I said, this is when he's become an official suspect in his own attack. And so we're trying to negotiate kind of a reasonable, peaceful surrender for his arrest. So then, the rapper 50 Cent, I know you guys know who 50 Cent is. He was at the Super Bowl when y'all were making fun of him because he got a little bit bigger and his body might not be as tight. So y'all know who that is. So he had previously come out in support of Jussie. And he posted a picture on Instagram referencing the actor's gay Tupac comment. So in that picture, Jussie Smollett's face is like over Tupac's on the album cover of All Eyes on Me. And he just changed it, to All Eyes on Me. You know how 50 Cent is. He's very, very petty. So February 21st, Jussie is arrested. He hands himself over to the police, and then he's arrested. And then in a press conference, the police superintendent, Eddie Johnson, I believe his name is, he said that Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. Then he goes on to say that it was because Jussie was dissatisfied with his current salary. So at this time, the police are also claiming that he sent a racist letter to himself at a Fox studio and paid the brothers a check of $3,500 to stage the attack. And hold on just one second. We got some breaking news coming in here. Former President Barack Obama has tested positive for COVID-19. He says that he has a scratchy throat, but he's feeling fine. That is what the former President Barack Obama has said. Again, breaking news here on Society Complex, 4:21 p.m. Sunday, March 13th. Breaking news. Former President Barack Obama has tested positive for COVID-19. He said he just has a scratchy throat, but he's feeling fine. So, back to Mr. Smollett. We'll get back, we'll come back to you, Mr. Barack. But, so he gave them a check for $3,500, right? So then after this, that's when his show, The Empire, they issued a statement regarding the future of Jussie Smollett on the show. They said, "We understand the seriousness of this matter and we respect the legal process. We are evaluating the situation and we are considering our options," right? So moving forward, then you got former President Donald Trump. He tweets about the situation. He said he calling the actor's comments racist and dangerous. And then he, when he was asked about it, he also said, "I think that it's horrible. It doesn't get worse as far as I am concerned." But he said that previously when it first came out that Jussie was attacked. He said he thought it was horrible. Doesn't get any worse than that. And as far as he was concerned. But after that, then that's what he said his comments were racist and dangerous. So later on that same day in court, Judge John Fitzgerald, he said that its most vile part of the incident was the use of a noose. Absolutely, he's absolutely correct. So Smollett's lawyers issue a strongly worded statement after the hearing, and he said that it was organized law enforcement spectacle. So, moving forward, February still in February, Jussie is suspended from his current job, which is Empire at the time. The executive producers, they issued a statement that he would not be in the final 2 episodes of the latest seasons and series. And they added that the allegations against him were disturbing. So, and then on the 25th of February, the check that he supposedly issued to the brothers was kind of being questioned a little bit. There were some reporters, they got hold of a copy of the $3,500 check allegedly paid to Abel, which is one of the brothers, for the attack. It was dated January 23rd and says 5-week nutrition/workout program, don't go, in parentheses. I'll read that again for you just in case you missed it. The check was issued January 23rd, and it said, quote, 5-week nutrition/workout program. In parentheses, it says, don't go. So then ABC News reports that the don't go is the name of the video, the music video Smollett was planning to shoot, which is why he paid the brothers to get him into shape. Okay. So moving forward on into March 1st, the brothers said that they regret even getting involved in the situation. The brothers' attorney came out and said, her name is Gloria Schmidt, said that they have tremendous regret over their involvement in this situation. She also adds, they understand how it has impacted people across the nation, particularly minority communities, and especially those who have been victims of hate crimes themselves. So the brothers have told on him already at this point. They have given over all the evidence. They have hired their attorneys. They're saying their regret, remorse, they 360 here. So this is where we're at now. Then later on in March, the 13th of March, a little bit later, the Empire comes back. This is the first one that they've aired since the alleged attack. And his character, Jussie Smollett's character, Jamal, he is featured in the episode, which it did go down in ratings quite a bit. And this is according to Variety. And then he was scheduled to appear in 7 of the remaining 9 episodes. And that was of season 5 of Empire. So then after that, Jussie goes to court. On the 14th of March, he pleads not guilty, of course. He appears in court on 16 counts of disorderly conduct. He obviously, like I said, he pleads not guilty. And then he said he's at this point, he has to tell the court if he plans to leave the state of Illinois, and he's due back in court. He was due back in mid-April. So, and then on March 20th, Lee Daniels, the creator of Empire, he speaks about the situation. He said pain and anger and sadness and frustration. That's what he and his cast have gone through over this entire saga. In his Instagram video, he does add that he really doesn't know how to deal with it. He has that Empire was made to bring America together and to talk about the atrocities that are happening right now in the streets. And I've watched Empire, and it did do a very good job of talking about issues, within the Black community and other parts of the community. I think he was right about that. Empire did do a great job of that, of trying to bring communities together on Empire. So I do certainly agree with that. So then moving on the 26th of March, Smollett, he's cleared of all the charges at this point. After an emergency court appearance, all the charges against him were dropped. And then his lawyer says he was a victim who was vilified and made to appear as a perpetrator. And then he goes on to say that his record had been wiped clean. But the Chicago police, city mayor, they all stood by their case against Jussie. They would criticize the latest development in a joint news conference. The superintendent, which we talked about him before, Eddie Johnson, said at the end of the day, it is Mr. Smollett who committed this hoax, period. If he wanted to clear his name, the way to do that is in a court of law so that everyone can see the evidence. And I stand by the facts of what we produce. The mayor said Jussie was let off scot-free with no sense of accountability for the moral and ethical wrong of his actions. So moving after that, they're clearly upset about this. They said they got plenty of evidence, so on and so forth. And this is where they did dismiss all those charges. So he thought that was the end. It clearly wasn't. So on the 27th of the same month, March, these lawyers say that the case was closed. And they kind of, still receiving a lot of criticism about it. He said that he calls the dropping of the charges a whitewash of justice and lashes out at Smollett for dragging the city's reputation through the mud. And this is what the mayor of Chicago said at the time. The Illinois prosecutor said that he decided to drop the charges, but he does tell CBS he does think that Smollett is guilty. But he explains that the charges were dropped because Jussie forfeited the $10,000 bond payment, and he carried out the community service, which we talked about, that he was supposed to pay the $10,000 and then do 16 hours of community service, which he did do. He did his 16 hours community service. So his lawyer, she said that the case is closed. There's no public official has the right to violate her client's rights. In their statement, she goes on to say, we respectfully request all government agencies involved live up to the ethical tenets of their office. The case was dismissed, and we should all allow Mr. Smollett to move on with his life as a free citizen. So at this point, they're thinking everything's over, is done. There's no more case. He's paid his $10,000. He's done his 16 hours of community service. And, he seemingly goes on. So then later on that month, former President Donald Trump, he tweets his thoughts about this case even more. He said he said it was outrageous, and he said it's an embarrassment to the nation. And then he also claims that the FBI and the Department of Justice, the DOJ, will now be investigating this incident. And this is one instance that he did not lie. He did not lie when he said that. So after that, Jussie is ordered to pay for the police overtime. They sent him out a letter, and it's a demand letter, Smollett false statement. And so that letter is all over the place. You can find that. The police orders Jussie to pay $130,000, and that is to cover the amount that the police officers, including their overtime, that worked specifically on his case. The officers basically said they spent a lot of time reviewing videos, physical evidence, and things like that were spent on this investigation. And in the letter to the actor, they repeat accusations that he orchestrated the attack. So at this point, they just want their money back. They're like, pay me my money for the overtime and the resources that we put towards your case, and then we'll move on. So, but after that, in April 12th, the actor refuses to pay, and then he essentially goes on to countersue the city of Chicago. And he countersues for about 3 times that amount. But police still want to be compensated for their manpower, like I said, that they use in investigating this alleged attack, because they still believe that Jussie did stage this attack. So then moving forward, after that, they're still having a fight about that. They're going back and forth, and I do believe his countersuit got dismissed for that. And then later on in April, towards the end of the month, the brothers end up suing the actor's lawyers. So Jussie Smollett's legal team is being sued for defamation by the brothers, that they said that he used to stage this attack. They said that they continue to be accused of carrying out a racist and homophobic attack against the actor. So they're saying that, like I said, they told on Jussie, they said, hey, look, he told us to do this. He told us what to buy. He told us what to wear. He told us what to do on everything. We've got the check. We've got the phone calls and text messages to prove this, that, and the third. But they're still being attacked and accused of carrying out a racist and homophobic attack against Jussie. Because at this point, people are still believing him, So that's where they're at. So they sued him, said that their reputations have been damaged as a result of the claims. Now, probably so, but you did decide that you were going to help him do this, so that's kind of your fault. But I can see where they're coming from. They're like, well, you know what? We admitted our wrongdoings. He's not admitting his, and now we're stuck holding, the red flag of now we're homophobic and racist. So I get that. But, it's still, you did choose to do it yourself. So, you're two grown men. But anyway, so his lawyers, they call it comical and ridiculous. And I feel like maybe a little bit, but like I said, they did choose to help him. But I can also understand their anger of, they're saying that he did it. They've admitted their stuff, and he's like, no, it wasn't me. I don't even know them like that. Oh, wait, yes, I do know them, but I can't believe they're a part of this attack. So they feel, So later on, towards the end of April, the show Empire, they have no plans for Jussie Smollett to return. They're pretty much done with him. They said they came to a mutual agreement that was negotiated to extend his options for season 6 of that. But at the time, there are no plans for the character of Jamal to return. But he did work on the show since 2015. And his character was removed from the final 2 episodes of season 5 after the allegations against him did surface. So at this point, he's lost his job. He's out of court, but he lost his job. The police are asking him to pay, restitution, I guess, basically, for the time that they spent doing this. And then later on in June, there is footage released to the police, June 24th. There's news footage that was released to the police. The Chicago police, they did release footage that was taken about 7 hours after the alleged attack. So it was taken from a police officer's body cam. It was in Jussie's apartment. It shows the actor with the rope still around his neck. So he kept the rope around his neck for, he supposedly, 7 hours after that. So 7 hours after that, when the police are, having the video on body cam, it shows him still having the noose around his neck when they are speaking to him in his apartment. So in the video, it's the officer say, do you want to take it off or anything? And Smollett replies, yeah, I do. I just wanted you to see it. So, and then, so the footage is part of like hundreds of files that were released by the Chicago PD from their investigation into the case, which, like I said, these are everywhere, so you can go and look them up. They also have another video that appears to show Abel and Ola in a cab on the night the police were called. And this says that they were on their way to meet Jussie Smollett the night of the reported attack. So going into 2020, February, there are 6 new charges against him. Special Prosecutor Dan Webb, he was assigned to this investigation, which should have been done in the first place. Apparently, that is the law, which we talked about with the Kim Fox thing, but she did not do. So then a judge decided they were going to, do what they were supposed to do in the first place, which was hire a special prosecutor to investigate this case. So they hired one to investigate how the case was handled. And then they moved forward from there. And then stemming from that, the actor was charged with 6 new counts of lying to the police. So moving, 2021, in November, that's when the trial begins for Mr. Smollett about the charges of lying to the police and so on and so forth. And it says that they allege that he hired the brothers, like I said, to carry out this attack to promote his career because he was dissatisfied with his salary on Empire. He said he argues that the character, that Jussie developed a secret plan that would make it appear that he was actually a hate crime, had occurred, according to him, and actually occurred against him by supporters of Donald Trump. So during this trial, Smollett says that the check was for a meal and workout plan from Abel, who he says he was involved in a sexual relationship with before the alleged attack. So let's make sure we got that. So the check, he said, was for a meal and workout plan from Abel, which was who he was dating or in a sexual relationship before the alleged attack. So he's saying that the person that he was in a dating or relationship with attacked him. So, not that I'm saying that doesn't happen, because it does, but I'm just saying what he's saying. This is what he said in court. So anyway, so he repeatedly denies that he had anything to do with this. In court, when he took the stand, he said that he did not call the police because, as a black man in America, I don't trust the police. I'm sorry. So in December of 2021, that's when he is found guilty by a jury of 6 men and six women. And it took them 1 day to deliberate that and for him to be found guilty. He was found guilty of 5 of the 6 charges of the disorderly conduct, which the last one they said that they had not proven in court. So, that one was a no-go. So each of the counts, they carried a penalty of up to 3 years in prison, but he doesn't have any criminal record or anything like that. So obviously he's a lighter sentence or probation is likely, which he partially did get. So there that was. And then in March, he is sentenced to his jail time. This is about 3 years after this attack and the first police report. So he is sentenced to 150 days in jail. He's ordered to pay a fine of $145,000 to the police. So they did get that money, or they're going to get it, I guess. And he also has 30 months of probation. So that is where we are at now with the Jussie Smollett case. I know they did file a appeal to get him out of jail about a day or two after he was sentenced. But I very highly doubt that that's going to happen. And a lot of people are calling for him not to be in jail. They're saying that he's been sent to the psych ward and things like that. But let me know what you think about this case on my social media. You can Google me at Society Complex 1 and all my social media will come up. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You can find me on all of those. And then you can also leave me a voicemail, what you think about this case. So don't be afraid to do that. You can find that link on any of my social medias or, wherever you listen to this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to Society Complex. I hope you're staying safe through this COVID-19 pandemic as we're still going through right now. I know most places have dropped their mask mandates. So please stay safe out there. Okay, keep you and your family safe. Thank you so much for listening and supporting me and this podcast. And until next time, I'm out.